This is Dan Rogers, your host on We the People Town Square, coming to you from the center of the universe, the high plains of Texas, near the headwaters of the Prairie Dog Town fork of the Red River. Today is January the 6th, 2024, and today we're here with Pat Bohlender, who's running for the county chair of the Republican Party of Randall County.
Correct.
Pat, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's tell the Republican voters in Randall County why you want to be the chairman of their party.
I am an organizer. I am a teacher. I'm a planner. I'm a detail person. And I enjoy a challenge. With being retired, I have some time on my hands that I can give back to the community that I live in. And that's very important to me, to be an asset to the community. I'm not a sit around, watch TV kind of person. I like to be accomplishing stuff.
A lot of people probably don't know that the county party exists in Randall County.
True.
Or they don't know what the job entails of being a county chair or precinct chair. Can you explain to the voters the duties of what the county party does, the precinct chair, and what the role of the county chair is?
I think I can. I am currently a precinct chair, and it is my responsibility, as well as the 30 others. In Randall County, we have 31 precinct chairs and available positions. Currently, we have 21, but it's our responsibility to get out into that precinct and explain to the people that there is a Republican Party and that we need to get out and vote and to be active. And you don't vote for somebody just because you like them. You have to be qualified to do this. And county chair is a volunteer position, so there's no big salary or anything else involved in it. You are to guide and help the precinct chairs become involved and direct them into a group so that they can go out within their precinct and create teams, smaller groups, because most of the precincts have close to 5,000 people in them, and it's impossible for one person to get acquainted with all of that. But if you spread team captains throughout that and y'all work together, it becomes a small community within each. And that's one of the first priorities, I think, of a precinct, of a county chair. The next thing is to get the primary voting election system set up. And that's probably the biggest, most responsible part of the job, is to make sure that you're available, for one thing, for candidates to bring in their application, and also for the precinct chairs to be out in the community and perhaps glean a person to come in and give of their time and volunteer to run for a political position, because we have to have quality candidates. And without being asked, some people don't jump up and volunteer. But once you get out and get acquainted with people and see that, if they're retired, or even if they're not retired, if they have some time that they could, be an asset, that's where I think that our main goals are.
So what's the role of the county chair?
The role of the county chair is just to guide and be available, in my perspective, and to stay on top of what's going on, attend trainings, create trainings for the precinct chairs, create settings to where people can come in and actually learn something about their community, like city manager, city mayor, bring them out to where the public can get acquainted and ask questions and be involved.
So what's the most important elective office in America?
President of the United States.
Wrong.
Wrong. What is it?
Precinct chair.
Whoa.
That is the most important elective office in America because they are the tip of the spear. And if they will engage the voters in their community, Republicans would win every election and candidates would have to spend very little money. The reason we have all this money in politics, in my opinion, is that we don't have people that are doing the simple job of being precinct chair. So if they would get a hold of the voters in their community, and in a primary, you have two parties. So you have 5,000, a maximum of 5,000 registered voters in a precinct. 50% of those never vote. 50% of those people aren't registered. 50% of those that are registered don't vote. And less than 50% of those vote in a primary that are engaged enough to care. And the primary is the most important election.
Yes.
Because that's where each party chooses its nominee. So
agree.
you don't have that many people to connect with in your precinct, and that's why it's down to that level. So my theory is that if we would have good, competent, capable precinct chairs that would engage their voters, you could eliminate most of this money in politics, and you'd get much higher quality people that were candidates who were engaging with the county parties and the precinct chairs, and you wouldn't have to spend hardly any money.
That's
So
true.
simple.
Yep.
Everybody wants to make everything about money, and really at the end of the day, it shouldn't be, and it doesn't have to be.
No, that's a good, valid point, and I totally agree with you.
But people have no concept how important that precinct chair position is and the impact they can have in their sphere. So that's what I've been trying to get people to understand. And it's hard to get people to do that. So because people don't want to talk to people anymore. You know, it's all, if you can't do it electronically, they're not going to do it.
And that is kind of how the world has switched to, which is not good, but
it's still about people.
Yep.
So if you get elected county chair, what is the first thing you plan on doing to improve your county?
Well, I start the end of this month in January, after we get through with this Lincoln Reagan dinner, organizing and bringing in all of our precinct chairs to pack door hanging bags with information sheets from Randall County, what our mission is as a county Republican Party, and the predominant candidates that have brought in information, because some people haven't been involved in the Republican Party that are running for office, and thus they don't know that the precinct chairs are the little ants that go out and spread the word, so to speak. And so that's what I'm doing right now, getting schedules and getting it ready to roll out. And then I'll go with them and kind of dependent upon you a little bit too, to help us with the wording at the door so that nobody is, saying the wrong thing or, not representing the Republican Party correctly. And just going out there and door knocking.
Well, I don't know if I depend on me to word things properly. I can really
I kind of
irritate
will
people
because you've
pretty
told
easily.
me what you have to say, and I take note. So I'm not going to try to mock you, but I am going to have you come and help me. So there you go.
So the county chair,
But that's
primary,
before I'm a county chair. So I
yeah,
mean,
the
that's
county chair primary role is to run the executive committee meetings
mm-hmm,
as the chair of the executive committee,
mm-hmm,
and to be the party spokesman,
mm-hmm.
and to facilitate and help as needed with their executive committee and the precinct chairs. And it's also, we run the primary in the county.
Yes.
Nowadays, they want to abdicate that responsibility and shove it off on the election administrator, which I don't like. So we typically nowadays we contract with the election administrator since they created that position, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we also run the county convention. We help our precinct chairs with their precinct conventions that happen right after the election,
Mm-hmm.
no later than March 23rd. And, communicate with the voters and try to inform them and answer questions and kind of be a, liaison between the voter and any elected official.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a lot of time and there's a lot to it.
Yes.
But it is a volunteer position. You kind of have to,
Mm-hmm.
you have to believe in what you're doing, I think, and understand the impact it can have
Mm-hmm.
to do it, because it costs you a lot of money to do the job
Right. Right. Yeah.
and a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
And
you have to
that's
be prepared for that.
kind of what I have right now is time, and I'm
That's the most valuable commodity a person has is time.
right, and using it wisely, I think, because like I said, I'm not a sit around do nothing kind of person, so I like to be involved. Love office work. Love being organized and everything in its place, in its order. I'm that kind of a person too.
So you have a couple of opponents.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why should the people watching this choose you over your opponents?
Well, probably because of my traits and characteristics as far as organizing, and I kind of have a God-given talent to see where something starts and where it should end and the steps in between. And I've done a lot of that over, as a matter of fact, one of my degrees is in teaching, and I have that certification in vocational home economics and psychology, and early childhood development is another minor. And so I ended up being a state administrator for home economics, and I was working on a master's degree out of Colorado State University in curriculum development and classroom management, both of a sequence kind of a thing. And one of the other professors up there was working on her doctorate, and she wanted to do a study and research on why are we still teaching sewing when we should be teaching consumerism, family relationships, nutrition, and that kind of stuff. There is a benefit to learning to sew because you have to apply directions to an application. And so it does teach you to think in a different way than most any other thing that you do. But you don't need to know how to sew to be a successful homemaker. then
Not today, maybe.
not today, right? But when home economics was first funded by the federal government, so to speak, and it was because the women were at home, the men were off to war. And so the women needed to go to work in order to provide for the family because the husbands in the war weren't making enough money to help them support themselves. So that's where Rosie the Riveter became famous, getting working on the airplanes and putting the rivets in and all that sort of stuff. Whereas women didn't work outside the home that much in the 20s and the 30s. We today, starting in the late 60s, when I graduated from high school, we had career options. Being a secretary, a nurse, or a teacher were pretty much it. And got to realize I was born and raised in a very rural community. So those were the three options that I had. So I chose secretary first and then went on into teaching. And, well, business it was called too then. But I led the state with that doctorate applicant to change the name from home economics to consumer and family. Then I went to Washington, D.C. and did a presentation there. And then I met with all 50 state administrators, my equal in every state, including Texas. And we got it pounded out on how to change a name of an occupational career thing. And that's, that requires a lot of processing and a lot of different steps when you're working with 50 different states. But it's now done. And the bottom line was we were not seeing boys in home economics. But once you change the name to consumer and family, the enrollment went 50-50. The boys realized, gosh, I need to be a consumer, a wise consumer, and I might live on my own without finding Susie Homemaker to prepare the meals and run the budget and do all of that. So that was a major accomplishment in history, if you would, to have boys now know how to run a budget, run a family, understand about how important nutrition is for your health, how important health is, period, and a healthy relationship. So that's where the curriculum has gone to from here, from cooking and sewing to that.
Now nobody knows how to sew.
That's
all your fault.
No, they best be in 4-H because that's another good thing. And I grew up in rural, so I was in 4-H. That was a lifeline in the summertime to get away from working so much. Got to go to 4-H meetings and I did so, and I cooked and got a little grand champions at the county and state fair. But anyway, it's.
Well, that built confidence and understood that you could see the results of your work, and I think that builds self-esteem. I think that's good for people.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Yeah. Yep.
You can see the end result of your efforts, especially if you win grand champion.
Yeah. True.
Then you have bragging rights to boot.
Yeah, that's
no, I think,
true.
The sad thing is, we've got, fortunately here in this area, we're still somewhat rural, but kids don't grow up working out like they used to. They don't learn responsibility at a young age. And I think that's a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to sew, and they don't know how to do the simple things that you need to know how to do.
Self-sufficiency.
To fix things, They can't fix anything.
Mm-hmm. No.
So everything's so specialized. and our clothes are made in Vietnam or China.
Right. Well, and nowadays you can't even afford to make your own clothes because the pattern itself costs more than a shirt at Kohl's or Walmart or wherever.
But if you get in a situation where all that stuff gets stopped from coming over here,
Oh yeah.
you could have war break out. Wouldn't necessarily have to be with us, but all of a sudden the supply lanes get shut down and we're unable to bring it in. So you better know how to survive, right?
That's right.
Simple, basic skills that people don't have.
That's right. I couldn't
That's
tell
what
you
worries me.
how many pairs of jeans I've had to repair because my son was a steer wrestler, and shirts, the horn gets in there, tears off all the buttons and whatnot, and so yeah, I still use that skill, but it's not. It's just a hobby, and that's what it. I don't have to do that for a living, but a lot of people do make a very good living in seamstressy and altering dresses and pants and shirts and stuff. So, yeah, it's still a viable option for sure, but you don't have to know. You should know how to sew on a button, though, really. But anyway, yep.
Everybody needs to keep some needle and thread around.
That's right. Don't.
So you're going to sew up the county chair position in Randall County and get it headed in the direction you think it should go.
I hope so.
And turn it into a nice piece of work, I guess would be a good way of saying it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Take your skills and turn it into a masterpiece.
I would
Grand Champion County.
I would like to, and I am going to get involved with the extension program and the other things in Randall County. My son, TJ Bohlender, he lives out on Claude Highway, and his son goes to school in Claude, but they still live in Randall County. And so I've been involved with the 4-H just because I took Macklin to a 4-H experimental day to get him excited and interested in 4-H. So he already at 8 is showing a pig. And but to me, the animal part is just so healthy for kids. He already rides and rodeos, and so does Maisie. She's 3, and so that was the way I was raised, and that's the way I raised my kids, and that's the way the next generation's going. So I think it's a lot healthier than paying for rehab for what seems to be going on in our world with kids with idle time.
Yep. All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to tell the voters before we wrap it up?
I would appreciate your vote and your support, and I feel I can do the job, and I'd like the opportunity to do it.
Do you have a website or Facebook page or any way voters could get a hold of you if they want to learn more about you?
Well, the website's not totally complete yet, but it's patforrandallgop.com.
Patforrandallgop.com.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so here again, right now my main focus is Lincoln Reagan dinner and the ticket sales and all of that for that. But
and you're heading up the committee for that, right?
Yes. Yep.
You're the chair of that committee.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I've enjoyed it because it's a lot of detail work and, rounding up volunteers and making it go smoothly. And everybody, when I said we're going to need 112 volunteers, go, oh, whoa, no way. We will never get 112. We've got 112. I've got every position from ticket taking to escort to the table, coat check, it's going to run smooth.
You've got it organized. Of course, we'll know how many of those people show up January 20th, won't we?
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
If you haven't bought your ticket, go to AmarilloLincolnReaganDinner.com.
Absolutely.
And get them now. Eric Trump's going to be here.
Yes. Yep.
And,
Eric Trump and
Dan Patrick's going to be here.
Yep. Paxton, I do believe, is confirmed too. Kevin Sparks, Ronnie Jackson. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's going to be the big event of the year.
Yep. And we just do this every 2 years. So it's not like it's an annual thing either, which is kind of a good thing because it's a lot of work we started on this in March and I delegated out. We have 5 groups, Potter and Randall County, GOP, High Plains Republican Women, Amarillo Republican Women, and a new group called Conservative Patriots for Texas. And so all 5 have 2 representatives, and I've given them each as part of that whole evening that they're responsible for, from silent and live auction to MC speakers.
Well, very good. Well, we want to commend you for having the courage to stand up and run for a countywide office. It's not easy.
No,
it's a lot of work.
I realize it's not going to be easy, but
we want to thank you for that and for coming by.
Well, thank you so much. Yes.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Well, good luck on the campaign trail.
Thank you. It's a new trail for me, but I think I can handle it.
Very good.
Okay. Thanks.